Hey, what's going on, guys? This is some crazy news here. So we have Vicky White, who was this former Alabama guards person, and then she had a relationship with Casey White. And Casey White, guess was this inmate here. He's pretty much a freaking criminal. He was actually supposed to serve 75 years in prison. Okay. And due to a 2015 crime spree, which it led me to him with the home evasion, carjacking on his record, killing a dog, and attempting to kill his ex-girlfriend. And in 2020, he was just like recently actually charged for capital murder of killing a 58-year-old woman. So this man is very dangerous to society. So at the same time, as I was digging deeper here, I'm looking like, why did Vicky White love this man, Casey White? Why she was dealing with him, and to the point that she jeopardized her whole career and actually ended her life. All right, now it was an escape plan. I believe this was well calculated. It's been an 11-day manhunt. They were actually found in Evansville, Indiana. So, according to the Daily Beast, it stated that she was supposed to she wrote off like a phantom appointment for Casey White. He was supposed to have have an appointment with a mental expert dealing with his mental health, and they was like, okay. So she told her coworkers about it, right? So they ended up driving there. Well, they didn't even drive there. They didn't even arrive. They actually drove to a mall, a shopping mall. And I believe that's where she abandoned her old vehicle and got into like a stolen vehicle. And then they ended up going to parts unknown, okay, throughout the area. And now we know what's really just kind of sketchy too, according to the authorities. I'm glad they picked this up on the surveillance cameras. Yeah, actually, she left like one of her tow SUV trucks around Bethesda in Tennessee, and they ended up finding that. But next, they was just like on a run, seriously, and it took like 11 days. And I think it was on Twitter. Brian Enton, a shout out to him. He was one of the best news reporters. He actually posted it on his Twitter page, the collision that happened. So I'm looking like, man, this is super crazy. And with this here, it's just that this is a white supremacist here. He had white supremacist tattoos all over him, and he's a pretty much a well-known criminal. Now, they said that they was running from the cops and everything in that nature. She ended up had self gunshot wounds. She killed herself, so she shot herself in the head. And before the police got there, they challenged him and everything. He said, he was stating to him like, hey, I did not kill my wife, even though they were not married. I did not kill my wife. She shot herself in the head. Now, you got to think about this too. With a criminal like this and his history, you could take his word for a grain of salt, seriously, because at the end of the day, I mean, they're very unpredictable, according to the U.S. Marshals. And, I was just reading about this. I'm like, this is super crazy, man. And this is super dangerous because you got someone who works in the law enforcement that's known for, they're supposed to enforce the law and, protect and serve the citizens, right? And corporations. And you sit up here and letting this man, for whatever reason, to go ahead and just be free and probably potentially hurt other people. Like, what is you was trying to accomplish? Now, you can say that this plan was actually well calculated because, I mean, she actually had a wig before the pursuit was. She had a wig. She kind of disguised her little figure and going ahead to in that SUV and with Casey White to go ahead and do whatever her bidding. But the thing is that she ended up dying, due to her wounds in the hospital, and they actually took Casey White back into custody too. But man, I just want to say thankful and grateful for the law enforcement and U.S. Marshals for actually, getting on the ball with this, especially with these manhunts could be very tricky. I'm just glad they didn't make it to international waters. I mean, usually, like I said, the fingerprints, the forensics, they can go ahead and, catch these people like that, man. Because, I mean, people are really not that smart. You might plan it on, but eventually, especially even in the States, you're going to get caught regardless. So, it was a very serious situation here. But this was this was like a terrible situation. I mean, terrible for the public and the nation as well. But I'm just glad that we had the law enforcement that was responsible enough and persistent enough, going ahead and just had this great leadership to go ahead and take these people down here because hopefully we just don't have any copycats because this can happen anywhere, especially anytime in the United States. But I was just like looking at this like this was a terrible, crazy story, man. It's all over. So Casey White, yeah, I'm pretty sure he's gonna be, I don't know, in a mental asylum institute, but like, yeah, he needs to go ahead and serve like life in prison. So I don't know what really. I'm trying to dig deep, like the psychological reasons for her to sit down and say, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and escape. Let's just go ahead and just forget and live my life. Forget the life that I have and the career that I built in this facility. I'm gonna escape with this convict. that's not normal. But that's all we have to say. I'm gonna actually go ahead and put the link in the article in the description box so you guys can read a little bit further and we can have a discussion about this. But I gotta go ahead and report this and cam up. I felt like that was very appropriate, man, for this topic. But you guys continue to like, comment, subscribe, share this video, man. That's really all I had to say, man. I'm out. Deuces.